Banks, every thief's favorite word. They've been the ideal target for robbing for centuries, and although they've only gotten harder to get into over time, that doesn't stop criminals from trying. Let's look at some of the top 5 most successful bank heists in history. Number 5. The ABN Amro bank robbery in Belgium. A man going under the alias of Carlos Hector Flammenbon pretended to be a business customer of the bank for a year, being trusted greatly among the bank's staff and executives. Carlos entered the safety deposit boxes and took over $28 million worth of diamonds. It's believed that the name and passport he used were fake, as the passport was reported as stolen in Israel a few years prior to the heist. The robber was actually one of the few trusted diamond traders with access to the vault, coming close to the bank staff through chocolate and other gifts. I mean, I like chocolate myself, but is that really all it takes to get into a diamond vault? Number 4. The Brinks warehouse heist. On an early morning on November 26, 1983, 6 robbers made their way into a Brinks mat warehouse at Heathrow Airport with help from a security guard, Anthony Black, who was in on the job. The original plan was to just take the £3 million that was in the warehouse, but the robbers also found 3 tons worth of gold and diamond, worth $41 million at the time. They sold over 6,000 gold bars, stashing them into 78 cardboard boxes. 2 of the robbers, Brian Robinson and Mickey McAvoy, hadn't exactly laid low after the heist, purchasing property in the nearby county of Kent, and McAvoy even naming his 2 newly acquired Rottweilers, Brinks and Matt. It didn't take long for Black to be tied to the robbery and sell out McAvoy and Robinson, which earned him a right hook to the jaw from McAvoy during a police lineup. Surprisingly, Black was only given 6 years in prison, while Robinson and McAvoy were given 25 each. The other 4 robbers were never caught and the gold was never recovered. Number 3. The Norton Bank robbery. The robbery of the Norton Bank in Belfast remains one of the most audacious robberies in United Kingdom history, where armed robbers stole £26.5 million and quietly loaded them into crates before driving off into the night. While posing to be police officers, the gang members infiltrated the homes of 2 of the bank executives, Chris Ward and Jarek McMullen, and took their families hostage. The robbers forced the 2 men to go to work the following Monday and pretend as if nothing was wrong. When the bank closed, the 2 men opened the vaults for the gang. The gang loaded up a large amount of pounds, US dollars, and other currencies into crates and drove off, but only to return an hour later to fill up a second load. Although McMullen's wife managed to escape from captivity and raise the alarm, by this time the gang was already making their getaway. In total, 10 people have been arrested and charged in connection to the heist, but to much frustration, none of the actual robbers have been caught or even identified. Number 2. The Central Bank of Brazil in Fortaleza. This was at the time seen as one of the biggest bank robberies in the history of Brazil, and still is to this day, and what's most shocking isn't the amount of money they stole, it's the way they stole it. In 2005, robbers dug a 260-foot tunnel extending from a house to the bank. The tunnel had wood-paneled walls, electric lights, and even air conditioning. The scene was discovered on a Monday morning, in which the thieves had stolen over 164 million real over the weekend, which converted to about $79 million at the time. The entrance to the tunnel was located at a house just a block away from the bank, where a business that sold artificial grass was operating. The thieves worked with a white powder in the vault room, meaning they left no trace behind besides a document with the name that was used to rent the house, which was registered under the name of Paulo Souza, who in the end became a folk hero among the locals for succeeding in what they called a victimless crime. Even though over 40 arrests were made in connection to the heist, only 8 of the $80 million stolen was ever recovered. Number 1. The Iraq Central Bank Heist. Although it may technically not even be one, the Iraq Central Bank robbery is considered as the biggest bank heist in history. The heist was ordered in 2003 by the dictator of Iraq at the time, Saddam Hussein, and was carried out by his son, Qusay. It is reported that Qusay, along with another individual, spent 5 hours loading the money into a truck before sending it off. The grand total taken was approximated to be near $1 billion. This was just before the American invasion of Iraq, so it was likely that Hussein planned to use the money to support himself and his family in case he would be removed from power. Too bad he was killed though. Although it's still unclear how much of the money has yet to be recovered, it was reported that a whopping $650 million was found in a single compound.